I'm happy to see some people still after 2 days of long talks and discussions. Okay, cool. It might go a little bit longer. Actually, they just took the timer away, so this is perfect. We can just do whatever we want. Nice. Don't put it back. He's doing it now. Look at that. I know. All right. Saw your speech earlier. Great one. Okay, guys. Oh, he's done it. I want to start with a blast from the past. Totally retro. And when I say blast from the past, 76 years ago. And I normally don't start like this. I don't put video in my presentations because I just don't. But 76 years ago, this video was done, and I saw it the other day, and it blew me away. It blew me away because 76 years ago, this guy was talking about issues that I think are more prescient today than they were 76 years ago. And I was shocked and surprised that I don't think things have gotten better, but they've gotten worse. It's a famous speech. You might know it. It's called The Great Dictator by the famous silent actor Charlie Chaplin. So I'm going to let him speak for a few minutes because he's going to do it better than me. So bear with me. It's only 3.5 minutes, if it works. No, there's no sound. I'm sorry, but I don't want to be an emperor. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible.
Gentile.
Jew, Gentile, black man, white.
We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this world there's room for everyone, and the good earth is rich and can provide for everyone. The way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost the way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded the world with hate, has goose-stepped us into misery and bloodshed. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will be violent, and all will be lost. The aeroplane and the radio have brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in men, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Even now, my voice is reaching millions throughout the world, millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
In 1967, while we had this, the Ford Mustang, we were promised and we thought about and we dreamed and we had the audacity to dream of flying cars. It didn't happen. In 2015, we have the Ford Mustang. We dreamed of vacations on Mars, colonies on the moon. It didn't happen. What we have instead is vacations in Hawaii where we still can't escape the detritus of human waste. We had the audacity to dream of perpetual motion machines, of limitless clean energy that would power the machines of the future. It didn't happen. Instead, we have pollution and nuclear disasters like Fukushima that make our lives worse, not better. We dreamed of healthcare for all. Everybody would be free of sickness, devices like tricorders that would cure us. Didn't happen. Instead, we have more sickness than ever, and more people dying from malaria and other diseases than ever. We dreamed of pills that you could eat that was to be your food. Just boom, you'd pop it. It would be food for everyone. There would be starvation eradicated from the planet. It didn't happen. Instead, more people die from starvation today than ever in the history of mankind. We dreamed that technology would make our life so much better, we would have 3-day work weeks. We'd have more time to spend relaxing on the beach with friends and with family. It didn't happen. We're working more now, and we're more stressed now, and we're more connected to our work now than ever before. Back then, we had the audacity to dream bigger and bigger and bigger, beyond the stars. It didn't happen. Instead, we have venture capital industry funding $1.5 million to apps like Yo. It didn't happen. Besides the internet, which I think is a fundamentally amazing tool and has changed our lives, but is also itself under threat. Besides the internet, I would propose to you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, that we have failed. We've absolutely failed. It's been an epic, monumental fail. And if you think we've done really well and everything's amazing and everything is awesome and all we got to do is copy what's happened in the developed world, because we don't need to develop anymore, it's already developed, and put that towards the developing world, the march of globalization, the cult of consumerism that has absorbed us, and everything is going to be awesome, I would say you're in for a real huge disappointment. Because without a commensurate sort of increase in technology and in innovation, as well as a commensurate increase in humanity, yes, humanity, compassion, love, the way we think, we're in for an absolute global disaster. Imagine just alone if India and China had as many cars per capita as the West. It would require more oil than we produce in a year for one day. It's a disaster waiting to happen. If you think that the world has enough resources to just copy the West without increasing technology and innovation, you're wrong. Peter Thiel said, in a world of scarce resources, globalization without new technology is unsustainable. I want to add to that because it's not enough. There is no plan B. Globalization without new technology and growth in humanity is unsustainable. We need both. Like in the speech of the great dictator, it's how we use and how we apply machines and technology that is important, as well as the technology in itself. And unfortunately, we've gone down a very dark road. So I want to take a time out and think about this. Why have we failed? I mean, we have so much potential and capability. Why have we failed? Why are we continuing to fail? Why has innovation in both technology and humanity failed us? I think fundamentally there's 3 massive reasons, huge reasons. The first one, education. The university systems were designed for what? This guy helped design them in the United States, and he was copied around. Elwood Cubberley. For mediocre intellects, for a docile citizenry. That's the dirty little secret of why they were designed. This guy advised the US government on rolling out the state university systems. And then it starts even earlier, of course, in our kindergartens, in our gymnasiums. This is a letter from a kindergarten teacher commenting about the state of education in the United States, and I'll read it to you. When I first began teaching more than 25 years ago, hands-on exploration, investigation, joy, and the love of learning characterized the early childhood classroom. I describe our current period as a time of testing, data collection, competition, and punishment. One would be hard-pressed to put these days to find joy in the classroom. That's pathetic. But at the same time, the cost of education goes up and up and up. Oh, and you know what? You're a bad parent if you don't spend a lot of money putting your kid in a real nice private school because you're not giving them the edge, the advantage. So there's the guilt associated with that, the pressure from society. Oh, and then they've got to go to a fancy little school after that for college and spend $50,000 a year. Oh, and so by the time they're all done, you've got a $400,000 or $500,000 bill for your cost of education, and that's an amazing way to start your career while being brainwashed. I'm starting to think that the opposite of education is not ignorance. The opposite of education is critical thinking. We don't learn how to think in education anymore. Education itself is a loaded word. It is schooling. It teaches us the basic operating system, and then it teaches us to be sheep. The second problem, I think, is in business. The education system itself was designed by the magnates of the Industrial Revolution for good little workers. The Industrial Revolution had the need to create scale, and for that, they needed replication, patterns, that we need to have consistency. So they created docile workers. Do what you're told. They created a system of safety for slavery. We're going to give you a steady paycheck. Just clock in, don't think, do the stuff, don't make trouble. We have best practice. You don't have to think. Best practice is one of the words I hate the most in business. It implies that there's a best way to do something. There's no best way to do something. There might have been a best way to do something 200 years ago for a particular company or for IBM in a particular environment for a particular problem. It doesn't mean it's the best way for you today in Slovenia or anywhere else. It's BS. Best practice, they think, is the road to profitability and success. And I would say best practice is the road to traffic jams and dead ends. And the best road ahead is the untried and the new one. The third problem, I think, is based on our human nature. And this is a tricky one. And in some ways, the education system and the business system reinforce this. And in fact, in many ways, they do. I fundamentally believe we have a very old brain living in a new world. And it's hard sometimes for us to adapt to the pace of change. And that pace of change frightens us. A lot of times it's in our nature to be negative to a new idea right away. No, can't do that here. No, I couldn't do this, couldn't do that. We crave somehow stability. We crave it. We want control. We think we have control over our lives and stability because that gives us safety or perceived safety. Yet every philosophy we've had in the world has basically said to us that control is an illusion and that the only constant is change. And we hear these platitudes or philosophies or whatever you want to call them, we go, yeah. But then we don't do anything. I go around and I ask people sometimes, what do you want for the future? And everybody says a very similar thing. We have this innate need for a better life. They say, we want, more peace, more compassion, more love, less starvation, less less disease, better life for our kids, and on and on and on. Yet on the other hand, despite the fact that we want a better world, how do we act? Like sheep. We have a herd-like mentality that says, I'm going to do what the others do. You're an investment banker, wear your suit and your tie, work nonstop, do what your investment bankers do. You're a doctor, you're this, you're that. In Australia, there's this expression called the tall poppy syndrome. The tall flower, you cut it down. The other people cut it down. In Bulgaria, we have a similar thing. Somebody goes down into hell, he's taking a tour of hell, and every sort of level of hell, there's people being held down and tortured in pots. And in the hell for the Bulgarians, they're just in the pots by themselves, but there's no devils holding them down. And somebody says, well, why is that? And the Bulgarians go, oh, we hold each other down. We act like sheep. We take the dogma of society, of business, of culture, of religion, and we accept it because we're afraid. We want a better world, but sheep don't make a better world. And I think this guy said it really well. Einstein said, we cannot solve the problems of tomorrow with the thinking of today and the intelligence of today. The next guy, Jung, added to that, and he said, we can't solve the problems of tomorrow with the consciousness of today, the humanity, the way we think and act. This guy, who's now a star at PODIM, another speaker, we were with him the other day, gave us an anecdote, Stefano, and I promised I would quote him. The story of the monkey. How do you catch a monkey? You put a coconut out with fruit inside it. You make a hole, a little hole, you put fruit inside it. The monkey comes, and he's like, ooh, food in the coconut. The monkey takes his little hand, and he puts it in the coconut, grabs the fruit, and he's got the fruit with a fist, and all of a sudden he can't pull it out. But rather than just let the fruit go, the monkey keeps trying. And ultimately, he gets trapped. Stefano said, the fear of losing the food is greater pain than actually losing the food. We're consumed by fear. I call this process insidious crystallization. Our brain, our old brain, even though we're living in this modern world, can't catch up. Technology might be one thing. Moore's law keeps going on. But the way we think and act doesn't. We haven't fundamentally changed that for hundreds of years. We are stuck. Our brain, our actions, society, the dogma we live in, hard codes our neurons to keep acting like sheep. We can't break free easily. And so we get stuck and afraid. And this is what happens to us. I don't know why some people can't get out. And why, when we're kids, we can challenge so well. When we're kids, we can say why to adults all the time, nonstop, until it bothers adults. But as we grow up, we lose that ability. Somehow, we crystallize. We are slaves to the tyranny of popular opinion. We're slaves, be it financial, be it religious, be it educational, societal, business. We are slaves to the tyranny of popular opinion. We believe that profit is life, thanks to the wonderful machine of modern capitalism. And this guy, Milton Friedman, an adept of Adam Smith, the founder of capitalism. And he said, in All's Genius, there is one and only one social responsibility of business: to use its resources and engage in activities designed to increase profits. What an asshole. He forgot that Adam Smith himself was very much engaged in social responsibility and in sustainable business. Adam Smith, the guy, also wrote a few other books besides The Invisible Hand of Capitalism. And he said, for example, the rate of profit is naturally low in rich and high in poor countries. And it will always be the highest in the countries which are going fastest to ruin. Meaning too much profit is actually bad. Adam Smith himself said that if it's a choice between profit and your community, sacrifice profit. I'm sorry, but capitalism has been perverted by people like Milton Friedman. And we have followed along like good little sheep. Meh. We have. And we didn't ask why. We didn't say, is profit over people a good thing? Gosh, it must be. Let's just work forever. Let's be good little zombies and follow the dogma. And we forget, these are statistics from Forbes, on the average retirement age in Central and Eastern Europe. Austria, whatever. The average retirement age today, or almost today, that was the latest figures I could find, 65 years old. Okay. This is the average life expectancy in the same region. 72 years old. I almost feel like there's this duality. Much like in religion where it was suffer now because it's okay. You're going to go to heaven later and it's going to be great. Just come over here and wait until you die. All right? It's very much like that. It's do what you're told, follow the rules, work nonstop, don't see your friends and family, work, work, work over here. Because when you retire with your dodgy knee and your bad back, then you can do what you want. Then you got 7 years, mate. Then you can do what you want. It is. We're laughing, but it's true. This is the grim reality of our existence. Unacceptable. There is no such thing as a work-life balance anymore. We have been lied to. Just like we've been lied that business is business and personal is personal. No. This is our life. Of course it's personal. We care about things. We care a lot about things. And there's no work-life balance anymore. Work is life. And we need to understand that we then have to change the way that is to make life better. And fundamentally, we need to understand that we are not machines, much like the educational and work system wants to treat us. We're fundamentally different from machines. Imagine that. Machines don't have emotions, inspirations, or passion. But we do. We're human. Machines, the purpose of machines is actually to work, to do repetitive tasks. Our purpose is to live. We weren't born to work. We weren't popping out of the womb going, I can't wait to work for McKinsey. It's not. Our purpose is to love and be human and be passionate. Humans crave variation. Why is it that anything in an ecosystem does like 20 things? A tree provides shade. It provides protection. The roots bring up water. It provides food. The dead leaves fall on the ground and provide nourishment. Everything does a lot of things, but we're supposed to just do our job and follow the job description. It's a genius idea. Machines live endlessly or in perpetuity. We don't. We die. And we die way too quickly. As I said the other day, we're never going to be on our deathbed going, oh, I wish I spent more time at the office doing paperwork. We won't do that. And finally, machines don't care. We care a lot. We care intimately, which is why I get so frustrated when we're treated like machines. Because time passes, and as we get older, it seems, maybe we get wiser. But then sometimes it's too late, because only when we're older do we realize there is no legacy of one. But it's often too late, unfortunately. So all of this is about to try to understand that innovation in both technology and humanity has to happen for the world to be a better place. That we have to start challenging, that we have to have the ideas and the action together. And I don't think we have a lack of entrepreneurship. We have a lot of ideas and entrepreneurship. What I think we actually fundamentally lack is courage. We are cowards. We're afraid to be different. In the Valley, there's this theme going around saying, oh, you've got Asperger's syndrome over Elon Musk. You can be successful because you have Asperger's, or Peter Thiel, or somebody else. They don't have Asperger's. They just aren't cowards. They just have the guts to take their vision and see it through, and the passion and the belief that they're doing something to better this planet. We have a lack of courage in society, in our personal relationships. We're afraid to be happy or make changes. We live out of fear and dependency. What we lack is courage, not entrepreneurship, not ideas. I don't want to keep it super general all the time because it's always nice to say, okay, we should think in a different way, but not have some specific actions. And so I don't know if these would work with you, but these are some things I've done at my company. Because I'm constantly trying to practice what I preach, and I use my own company as like a test bed for the ideas. So I just want to run through them. I don't want to get too late. But one of the things we do is elevate culture to the level of importance of profit. Fancy that. We hire and we fire based on culture. I fundamentally believe that companies lose their way because they start hiring on skill, not people. They go, oh, we need these positions, let's just fill them up. But then you lose the passion and the vision, the coherence that the founders had. I'll get to speed later. Right now, grow slower. Who said growing fast is the best way? Oh, wait, yes, some economist or a venture capitalist that wants their money right now. It's not. Because when you grow fast, you lose things along the way. You can't maintain your culture. We grow pretty slow. We grow when we find the right people. And we preserve our purpose. You've seen this. Microsoft used to be cool. Then they got crap. Facebook used to be cool. And now it's Uber or something else, the new startup. Now they're not cool. It happens over and over again because they grow too fast. Whoopsie. Along that line, I think we need to be in small units. I think as soon as you get more than 125 or 150 people, we lose touch. We don't know who's doing anything. Economies of scale are baloney. Yes, even in manufacturing. And there are examples around the world like Semco or Faviat from France where economies of scale have been proven not to work when you go small. And we can talk about more of that later in Q&A if you want. But a way to visualize that is to think in the old days when you had tribes, there were pretty small tribes. Hunters of 10 or 20 would go out at most to hunt a mammoth. Imagine if you had 500 people hunting a mammoth. You have these huge organizations with 1,000 people on a floor. You don't know anybody anymore. You have no clue what's even going on or who's doing what. It's chaos. So rethink scale. I actually think that small creates higher productivity in today's day and world with today's tools. Reduce bureaucracy is an easy one, and we always say it, but I do it. I have no HR in my company. Why should somebody else hire my friends? They probably don't know what these people do anyway. I have my own employees when they want to hire somebody. They interview the person. They say yes or no. They set the salary. I have no idea what's going on half the time. I don't. It's a good thing. Embrace freedom. I mean, I don't understand how we embrace the concept of freedom so much in our personal lives, and yet when we go to work, we're supposed to hang it up on the coat rack. And I don't understand why I would hire you in the first place if I didn't want you to do what you want to do. Eradicate fear. I stole this from Deming. Fear is antithetical to innovation. You don't innovate when you're afraid. Fear sucks. You don't speak out. You don't challenge. HP, when they used to be cool, they actually had an award, I forget what it's called, for people that did what they were not told and still succeeded. It was like some sort of Maverick award. We put people over process. The concept that this overarching best practice is good for the entire company is absurd. We let each team find the process they like. If they want some help, as a management, executive, whatever, my job is to help them, but I'm not going to tell them what to do. One process for one team isn't right for another team or another customer. So we let the teams decide. We eliminate secrets. This is insanity anymore. I even don't believe in IP anymore. But I mean, secrets, come on. Like, secrets used to be this power distance. Like, I know something you don't know. I've got some power over you. Today, I fundamentally think sharing is power. Secrets are idiocy. In a day when like we can Google everything and search everything, but we have secrets, what the hell's a secret anymore? Ugh. You know, I especially hate it when I see entrepreneurs that go, oh, I have an idea, but I'm not going to tell you. Because it's just that good. Like, really? Oh, I don't have any secrets at work. At work, our profit is open, our revenue is open, my salary is open. What does it matter anymore? If you can't justify your own salary, you don't deserve to be making it. Along that line, institute transparency in the free flow of information. Oh, I'm over time. Just going to keep going. Institute transparency in the free flow of information. I mean, I just saw that. Release control. I mean, it's the people closest to the situation that should be managing that situation. I mean, please, release control. We don't really have it anyway, and delegate to the lowest possible level. At our company, people don't even ask me unless they need help, and I don't want them to. I've got other things to do. Yeah, and don't these other managers who are micromanagers, don't they have like an idea of their own? I mean, please. Flatten the hierarchy. We're very, very flat. We've got 2 levels right now. Even in my previous company, we had 300 people. We had 3 levels. That's it. We had CEO, partner, associates. Done. It's much, much easier. This one's huge. Ask why. Why are we doing it that way? I get challenged all the time, and I love it. And sometimes I sit there and go, I don't actually know why. Maybe the guy's right. I love it. One guy sent me an email, and he said, Steve, I think the way you acted, you were an asshole. And I sat there for a second, and I was like, what a dick. But then I was like, no, he was actually right. And I love the fact that he had the freedom to send me that and challenge me on that. Trust implicitly, I said this a little bit earlier, but why would I hire you to micromanage you or not trust you? Really? Well, we're in kindergarten anymore? As a leader, it's your responsibility to take the leap of faith first. Trust implicitly, and you'll get it back. We're so afraid that someone's going to screw us. It's not the case. Humanity prevails, and almost every time, you get rewarded with more loyalty, not less. Rethink pay. I think this is egregious. Income disparity and income inequality is causing more problems than ever before. I don't know what the magic formula is, but our company is less than 10x between the cleaner and the executive. But these reports you see of Wall Street making 250 times, the executives, seriously? Because here's what happens. All the real people doing work go, dude, I work way harder than that guy. And it demotivates us because they get millions and millions in stock options. And we're struggling and working late hours, and they're on the golf course. Come on. It's demotivating. Eradicate politics. I hate politics. There's no place for it. There's just not. Don't be duplicitous. This is one that we use. No management without leadership. I'm starting to think the middle manager is a plague. Be a leader. Yes, I know sometimes we have to actually follow process and do some stuff and make sure work gets done. But that doesn't mean you should just be a little pencil pusher. Be a leader as well. I think there should be more leadership and less management. Set some examples. And in that line, jump first, talk direct. Lead by example. If I fail, I fail, and everybody sees it. I don't care. And then finally, I think we need to embrace humanity and realize that business, like I said earlier, is intimately personal. What I try to do is I let people bring their hobbies to work. The more people can express themselves and their own interests, the happier they're going to be. And that's the best HR tool you could think of. And I hesitate to even use the word HR. But it's the best way to actually let people express themselves and enjoy their life. I don't know how to make you understand or change if you are a sheep. I struggle with this. Sometimes I try to beat it over the head with a hammer. I don't know when you're not already awake, or if you're not on the edge of waking up to challenging these old ways of thinking and living. I don't know what to do. I don't have an answer. And it's frustrating for me. What I do know is that if you guys, like me, are frustrated that we don't have endless food and perpetual energy and clean energy, if you're frustrated like me that work-life balance is crap, if you're frustrated with me that people still think in old ways, if you're frustrated like me that we can't change people even though it's so obvious sometimes, or that we don't think we've innovated enough, we don't think society's progressed, or there's too much war and too little compassion, then I think as a society, we must understand that progress is based on intelligence and the development of consciousness. We cannot progress as a civilization. We can't by giving a platform to cowards and silencing intelligent people with courage. We just can't. I fundamentally think that it's courage and humanity together that will create more innovation. But we have to embrace it. It's courage and humanity that are going to give us those great leaps forward that we absolutely fundamentally need on this planet. And you have to step it up. You have to take that leap of faith. All right, thank you very much.
Don't you run away. Don't you run away. Look at that.
Ah, thanks, guys. But
That's yours.
now I'm feeling embarrassed. Thank you, guys. All right. Now I really want to run away.
I think you blew us all right out of the water, mate. That was fantastic. That was
Cool,
that
mate.
was awesome. That was so inspiring. Look, thing is, actually, also the organizers just said, look, give the guy a couple more questions. Like we were out of time. No one cared because it's just like everyone like, wow. Now here comes the hard part. He said, do not be sheep. And two of you, that's one, that's good. Who else is not going to be a sheep and has a question? Raise your hand now. Number two, number three, that's fantastic. We just got two, sorry. Bah. Number one, please, that's your first question.
Thank you.
Oh, we have questions. Oh, shit.
Yes.
Oh, man. Okay.
It was a
All right,
lousy
that's
intro, I know. Got so carried away by you. Like, go on then.
First, I would like to say that I couldn't agree more with everything you said. My question is regarding the work hours at your company. Because it's pretty common, at least 8 hours, but it's getting more common, 10 or 12 hours. And I think we could do with 4 hours.
I have two rules, mate. Customer is happy, and your team is happy. I have no other rules at the company. So the work hours is people work as much as they need to work. Like, I just trust them to figure out how to make the customer and their team happy. And I mean, that has responsibility, meaning if you set like a scrum meeting, you make the scrum meeting, and your team's going to be pissed off, and ultimately the customer's going to suffer. But that's it, man. I honestly, I don't care. And what I also find is people hold each other accountable after a while. So if somebody starts really slacking, like, they don't care if you don't come in, but you're really busting it somehow. You're working late at night, I don't know, whatever, drinking coffee and cocaine. And but if you start slacking, then they're like, dude, that guy's never in the office and he's slacking. So it's like this weird self-regulating system. So we think that that's less accountability, but it's actually more accountability. Because I also don't have to watch it. The teammates watch. You know what I mean? Like, we hold each other up to a higher level. It's cool. So I carried away
There
there.
was a second question somewhere over there. Raise your hand if you had the second question. You've won.
I already got the mic. Steve,
There you go. You inspired the people. That's awesome.
yeah. You and I also, we grew up in a world when I was a kid, I was playing with real kids. And now I have my 3-year-old son, and I'm not so sure that he will be ever playing with real kids because he's already playing with an iPad. So this is this generation which is Facebook generation, or I don't know how to tell it, where they don't meet the real people and they don't live the real life. you post only the fun part, and you should be fun and should have the most exciting life, and if you don't take photos with koalas and, I don't know, on exotic beaches, then you are not fun enough. So how would your concept work for them? Because we can feel part of this pain because we have something to compare and we have a real world to compare with, but what about the next generation?
I don't want to be mean, but you could take the iPad away.
Yeah, no, it was just an example. It is just an example.
I mean, let's face it. We're still supposed to be parents, and yet we rely on the school system and society and rules to parent for us. I think we've lost a lot of personal responsibility. So, I have kids, and I tell them to get out into the park and stop playing with whatever games. Like, I understand what you're saying, that the drive of consumerism and business shoves down our throat. Happiness is purchases, and buy this stuff, and your kid's going to love the iPad, and it's going to learn faster with these stupid little games, because, we never learned the last few thousand years. I understand that it's seductive, and it's a powerful thing. And, I've been to Sydney recently, and it's like you see the strollers on the beach, and there's baby strollers with iPad fit-outs. Seriously? I mean, I'm sorry, but at some point, it's just insanity, and you have to just throw it out. I mean, just don't buy it. Stop buying the stupid thing. Like, screw Apple anywhere and their 58% profit margin on an iPad, because they don't care about you. But yes, I don't know. The question is, you've got to wake up and say, no, I'm not doing that. It's a tough answer, sorry, but
And that's the right way to answer it. I mean, you don't have to answer everything. That was perfect the way you did it. You got standing ovations. That was pretty good, wasn't it? On that note, thank you so much, mate.
Wait, no, okay.
That was a pleasure. Thank you. Now, you will be around.
We should have ended on a more positive answer to a question, damn it. Now I feel bad.
Then say a 10 seconds, say something nice in 10 seconds. Like, I'm a great guy and I like you all a lot. Something like that.
No, I have a lot of faith in this region. I really do. I want us to stop copying Silicon Valley and find our own path. I think we're amazing entrepreneurs. We have an amazing ability to adapt. Sometimes life is generated on the edge of chaos, right? Like, let's just not follow their patterns and let's find our own way. I really believe in you guys. There we go.
That's marvelous. Thank you.